for some other day. Only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, when you go away, it won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys, Old Man G here, back again for our annual transfer deadline day stream. This is January transfer deadline day stream, and we have some breaking news from the Chelsea side. It looks like, unfortunately, Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea appears to be a done deal. I'm praying that the papers will not be delivered. I'm praying that the papers will not be delivered. But so far, Fabrizio said, here we go to Enzo Fernandez. So I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans will be very, very, very happy with the amount of money and effort that's gone into spending for those clubs, which no one seems to be complaining about, by the way. Anyway,
There should be. I can't. 300 million in a January transfer.
If
they do not get investigated and banned for 2 transfer seasons, I will be mad. Because have you seen the tweet? Todd B doesn't want to pay it directly, so he used some factoring company.
Yes.
So he doesn't break the FFP rules.
Yes. Yeah. No. See, the thing is, and this isn't to Todd B. At the end of the day, like this is the nature of the transfer windows, that people, a lot of the big clubs, that in order to get around loopholes, they do it, and it is what it is, So all I hope is that ultimately that he becomes a success. So, and actually, he said, important clubs running to get the document signed before end of the window. It's finally agreed. So boring. So, well, there we go. We'll see what happens anyway. We'll see what happens. Right. But enough about Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea, because we are talking about United, but we're also going to be talking about our transfers. But the big thing, and this is why one of the reasons I've got Samasi on, is that Manchester United, about 2 hours ago, agreed with Bayern Munich for a loan deal for Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern Munich, fully agreed. Documents obviously are being signed. He is officially a United player. It's confirmed to be a loan move with no option to buy at present. And obviously, this is coming off the back of the fact that Manchester United, so Van der Beek, obviously, as we know, is injured for the rest of the season. Eriksen, after the horrific tackle by Andy Carroll, is out till pretty much the end of the season, end of May. And then we're now even hearing that McTominay is now injured. So, really and truly, and I was saying this from the beginning and the start, that everyone's saying that United are going to have a successful season. They need to increase the squad depth. And United have essentially lost Ronaldo, who's a striker, because he left. You've now effectively lost Van der Beek and Eriksen till the end of the season. So United are now down a striker, and they've replaced them with Weghorst as a number 9, and now Sabitzer here. You could argue we're still down a midfielder, So, this was definitely a good signing. I think it was needed because I generally don't believe United would have been able to survive with just Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno, which is effectively what the midfield was without Sabitzer up and for goodness knows how long. McTominay's injuries, he tends to take a while to come back as well. So, we've got a lot of big games coming up, and we needed the rotation. There is some positive news in that it looks like Sancho and Martial are back in training. Still no word from Dallo yet, but Sancho and Martial are going to be back, so that will help the attacking line, especially if you can rotate Martial, Weghorst, for example. That gives us options. But yeah, guys, it's looking a bit peak. It's looking a bit peak. But we got our deal in the end. Just quickly, but right away, remember to like the vid, guys. Oh yeah, that was my saying hello. That was me going live. Can't believe we got him. What a signing. Would you take from? I would, to be honest, at this point now, I would take anybody. I literally wish you would take anybody at this point, because as far as I'm concerned, United need bodies. United need tons of bodies, because there's no way that United aren't going to get more injuries from now to the season. We already have two midfielders down, a striker down, and we've only replaced them with Ronaldo and Sabitzer. That's it. McTominay's now gone injured. Dallo is out injured. We don't know when Dallo's going to come back. So the squad is very, very thin right now. So I don't think beggars can be choosers. I'm just going to bring Pride in, but I want to go to Samasi to tell you to give me. Obviously, I've been a Bayern Munich fan, and
yes.
Shout out to getting Cancelo for Man City. By the way, that was a nice steal, I think, for Manchester City.
Thank you. Sorry, yes, I was so happy. That was the most surprising transaction. It was so quick. Like it was announced, it's happening, and then I swear, an hour later, he's in fucking Munich in a car. It's oh my god. So I was Sabitzer. He's a very, very good sign for Man United. He's a quality player. He's good on the ball. He's good off the ball. He has legs for days. He can really beat the engine. Like he's a younger Jordan Henderson who's just better on the ball, I think. He has a killer set piece technique, I would say. Some of his scores are unreal. It sometimes remind me of Beckham-esque goals. You know what I mean? He has sometimes screamers. He has a remarkable delivery of long-range free kicks. So he's an overall quality player for me. And he can play also on the wing. That's a benefit. So I think for a loan, just for a day prepared, it's very good signing. I'm a little bit sad that he left because he really not got the opportunity to shine in Bayern because we were stacked in the midfield. But he will be very good for Man United. He's Eriksen. He has everything that Eriksen can, but he also can tackle and is defensively good. So it's a great deal.
Fair enough. Pride, obviously. Thanks for joining us, buddy. What are your thoughts on Sabitzer and this deal?
Hey, what's good, RDS?
I'm good. Well, I was better before Here We Go with a certain player because I'd prepped my banter, but now it's apparently it's not going to happen. So it is.
It is what it is, man. I'm not really that worried,
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about actually before I talk about this, fun fact that Samasi mentioned the factory company that Todd B used, right? And guess who that factory company is owned by?
Who?
It's Roman Abramovich.
Of course it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
You okay? Someone in these are Chelsea are fucks. Chelsea are fucks.
Of course it is.
This is some shady stuff going on,
Of course it is.
Criminals, absolute criminals.
Criminals, yeah, criminals. But it is. This is what I'm saying. This is why no person really acknowledges Chelsea Football Club in terms of the trophies where they're coming from. So, but it is what it is. Let them have the moment in the sun. Enzo is a very good player, and I just hope that they don't ruin this guy, because you never know what's going to happen, So
I
All
hope.
I can say is like this process better work out. Like of signing 10 million players in one window. It better work out, because if it doesn't, boy, like we're gonna have some clowning sessions, at this club.
So, Brad, what's your thoughts on obviously the Sabitzer signing and how it will help Manchester United going forward?
Not gonna lie, I'm really happy because this, if in the summer we were after De Jong, right? So I always told people that if we didn't get De Jong, I wanted him, because this guy, he's just so good, man. Like honestly, he gives everything Eriksen gives plus the defensive work. Honestly, you see Eriksen getting tired after 60 minutes, right? Every game. Yeah, this guy will run for 90 minutes, like completely. He doesn't get tired. He's good technically on the ball. He can close people, like he can close up defenders. He's good, very good pressing wise. And the other thing is he's two-footed. He can play passes with both feet. He can play line breaking passes. He can play switches, and he gives everything defensively that Eriksen doesn't give. Plus, he gives you the effort as well. So the I don't know if we're gonna sign him on a permanent in the summer. So, but for 6 months, I'm really happy that Sabitzer is here, and I think he's gonna. I think he's a better, like he's an upgrade on Eriksen, if I may say so. Another positive, another good thing is he can play multiple positions. I think he played one game at left back for Bayern. I'm not sure, but he can play multiple positions. He can play as a 6, as an 8, as a 10. He can play on the wings. He can play as a left back. He also played at striker, I think. So, man, I'm really happy. Like I watched this guy so many times in the Champions League. He played against Tottenham. He was so good then, against Atletico Madrid, even against us when we played the away leg. I don't know if you remember. We lost 3-2 in that game. But like he was amazing in that game as well. So I'm really happy with the signing. I never saw this coming, but yeah, it's better than Awar or Tillemans or any of those people. So I'm really happy.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. SMB, yo, what's up? I'm surprised with this deal. But the Sabs, is that what we're calling him now? The Sabs seems like a Ten Hag player. Yep, I don't think I disagree with that. I think that's probably why. I mean, United
he totally is.
Also, Red, he's gonna give cover to Casemiro. That's the most important thing.
Yes, you
If
can.
Casemiro needs a rest, he can totally play in that 6.
I mean, we only have 4 active midfielders right now. That's insane. If you exclude you, then because McTominay is just confirmed to be injured, we don't know how long that's going to be going on for. Van der Beek and Eriksen effectively out the rest of the season. So the only midfielders you have are right now available: Fred, Casemiro, and Bruno. That's it.
We have only 3 midfielders. Also, I don't know by insulting, but it is what it is.
You'll still beat PSG though. You'll still slap PSG.
Listen, Nagelsmann. If he lose against PSG after we got Cancelo on a loan, then he gets fired. I don't care. Fire him on the spot. Fire him on the feet. I don't care.
Are you with Core in this respect? Because Core is very anti. Core calls him Bagelsman. So
Bagelsman showed up the last game we played against Frankfurt. He played one midfielder in Kimmich, next to him Musiala, who isn't a midfielder, and let Gravenberg thought he was gonna play because Nagelsmann said he's gonna play, and then told him before the game that he's not gonna play.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
I wanted to punch. We were horrible in the game. I wanted to punch Nagelsmann in the face. He annoys me. He's worse than Pep. He's a more idiotic version of Pep, who does something experience. Just play 4-3-2-1, enough of it.
He's single-handedly tanking the season.
He gets fired.
Mo Wada says, losing some creativity, passing range and quality set plays. He's not an upgrade, but a good signing given the situation. Yeah, I mean, there's a case to make that, like, is he as creative Ericsson? Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But, as you rightfully said, like, what I would say is that I feel like one of the things that I think that lacks with Ericsson is that, unlike, say, for Pogba, for example, he's not really a ball carrier. And as Pride has already said, like, after about 60 minutes, the guy's legs just go, really. And I think that it's one of the reasons why I was surprised that Ten Hag started McTominay. I don't know why he played McTominay and Ericsson together, because Ericsson just doesn't have any legs or the tenacity, really. He just doesn't, whereas Fred does. And at least I assume now you will. Well, actually, no. To be fair, against Forest, we're already 3-0 up, so maybe he might rotate a little bit. He might play that youth guy. What's he called again? Matona?
Mainu.
Yeah, Mainu. So I imagine Mainu, because, to be honest, we're going to need Mainu anyway, because even if we include Sabitzer in, we still only have 5 midfielders.
You want Zidane Iqbal.
And Zidane Iqbal, yeah, exactly. So you're gonna play with 3. Obviously, Sabitzer needs time to sort of gel in, but he'll come in, and then you need at least 2 midfielders.
But trust me, Red, you're not. Yeah, like as he said, you're not losing out on the creativity and the passing range. Trust me. Like this guy, he has the creativity. Not, I wouldn't say the same level as Ericsson, but maybe just below a level that. So, but what you're getting out from him defensively, like, far outweighs the possible, like, shortcomings of his creativity. So I feel like, and another thing, if you've noticed, is that we don't really play Ericsson without Fred in the big games. If you notice that, we tend to play Bruno on the right wing, and then we play Fred in the midfield, like attacking midfielder, just to have that energy in that midfield in the big games. Like against City, Arsenal, against all those teams. But if you have Sabitzer, you don't have to account for that, if you know what I mean.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was.
Go on, Smasi.
He started actually this season. We were very stable in the midfield, but we lacked creativity because he started. That's if you play Savitzer, you have to play in a creative midfielder next to him.
Yeah,
because then it's too defensive.
So I mean, I guess obviously, I mean, we'll go to Pride because United fan. United have obviously they've signed Weghorst. I said we were broke, and clearly United are broke because we signed 2 loan deals with no option to buy in Weghorst and Sabitzer. Do you think that? How do you feel that these sign? Well, first of all, how do you rate this transfer window for United? And second, how do you see these transfers actually impacting United going forward to the rest of the season?
Ooh, that's a good question. As for your first question, I'd say, because we have to judge it on what we required. So we needed a striker, we got that. We needed an extra midfielder, so we didn't get that. This is regarding a midfielder on top of Ericsson. So I would say it's probably a 6 or a 7, because Sabitzer is a good signing, but I don't know about Weghorst. Like, if he scores like a goal in 3 games, that's good enough. So I'd say like a 6 or a 7. I'm not gonna rate it more than that. As far as going into the next to the rest of the season is concerned, I would say that Sabitzer would provide good depth as well as Weghorst, because I know Marcel and Sancho are coming back next game, right? So I think they would be really good signings, just impactful. They're not going to transform the team in any way. So I'd say that Sabitzer will be used more than Weghorst, in my opinion, because he would partner Casemiro really well. So I can see a positive impact, and plus I hope that the other youngsters could get more of a chance, though, because I know the midfield is lacking at the moment. So yeah, but defense is good enough. Midfield, maybe we need to rotate some more, and attack, I'm fine with it as well. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Red?
Uh, um, if I'm honest, I still think that I'll say it was a 4 out of 10 window. Because I think a lot of why people United fans are kind of, if we didn't know the Glazers were selling the club, I think a lot of United fans would be a lot more angry because we know the Glazers selling the club and are leaving the club in the summertime. We're going to get more rich owners. I think a lot of United fans are like, okay, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. They probably don't want to sell. They probably don't want to lose any money or blah blah blah. Fine, doing that. But I want to take that out of the picture and just focus on the actual window in itself, and especially when you compare it to our rivals. And the reality is that compared to our rivals, no, to most of them anyway. Well, certainly to Chelsea, but enough said. But certainly to likes of Arsenal. I guess you can make a case that City didn't really do anything. Liverpool didn't really. Well, they got Gakpo, I guess. So, but I just still think that we just didn't do enough, and we didn't do enough fundamentally because we always needed a number 9 or striker to be, in my opinion, on top of Martial and Ronaldo, because Martial is injury prone and Ronaldo, just wasn't good enough at the point. Ronaldo left, so you still have a situation where you had an injury prone Martial, so you get Weghorst in, who can, I guess, do a job. And Martial is coming back, but you can't rely on him. So I still think the United need another striker, but it's fine. I'll accept Weghorst for what he is, but the midfield, we knew the injuries were going to come. Dalot, goodness knows when Dallow's going to come back. So we're basically relying on Wan-Bissaka to play right back till the end of the season in every single fixture because we don't have backup at right back unless Brandon Williams counts. I genuinely don't know who the backup to Wan-Bissaka is because I can't see how you can just throw Brandon Williams in at right back and expect them to do a job. That's just not going to happen. So I don't know who plays there. Malacia, maybe he can alternate, I guess, possibly. So we're now using alternative positions. And midfield, like I said, we're essentially down to, even with Sabitzer in, we're down to 4 midfielders with and then plus or minus youth. So the only place where I feel that United are in quotes stacked is probably at centre back. Because, even if Varane gets injured, you've got Martinez, you've got Maguire, you've got Lindelof. You can now play Luke Shaw left-sided centre-back. So centre-back is fully covered. And you can make an argument that left-back is fully covered. Those are probably the only positions that I think are fully covered in this team. Everywhere else,
I think even the wings there were covered there as well because you got Sancho coming back, so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's difficult because United have a lot of games till the end of February, from now to the end of February, and I anticipate that players I genuinely believe people say Martial's coming back. Martial's going to get injured again. He will.
Yeah.
He will. So as far as I'm concerned, Martial is the equivalent of like a reserve team player in terms of availability. Sancho, I'm hoping that all this time Sancho's been out, it's for him to make a dub, but it might not be. Compete for United are in 4 competitions, and so to compete in 4 competitions, especially when Europa League starts with the squad that we have, I think sacrifices are going to have to be made. To be honest, because we are going to get injuries, we are going to get suspensions, and ultimately, we just don't have the depth for it. And this window.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, I seriously think we should bin the Europa League because, I don't see the point in that competition.
No, I agree. So I'm still refreshing the. What's this? Enzo's currently on the show stuff there while clubs and lawyers are making sure deal is signed. And they need to get the documents. They've got 30 minutes to get the documents signed. So there's still a little bit of hope.
I don't think the documents would matter because they can be signed after the window. So this thing is done.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
But Ardius, look on the bright side. Even if we didn't have that much of a good window, this is the last window under the Glazers.
I know. It's just I don't want it to be. I don't want to. You're right, and this is what I'm saying. That's why I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's not so bad. But I think my thing is more just the fact that like we could have really done something this season potentially. When four competitions, if we reinforce the squad, United could, if United beat Barcelona, there's no reason why United couldn't go on and win the Europa League.
Yeah.
They're in a Carabao Cup final. Even we look at the FA Cup. Aside from Spurs and City, I think United's still in it. You've got City obviously and Spurs who, so United have a good opportunity to potentially win 3 trophies, more than we've
Yeah.
won, and we haven't won any in that 6 years. And even though, and potentially even push for the league. I'm not saying they'd win it, but with the squad depth, if we'd had, for example, brought in SABITZER before we played Arsenal, then suddenly Casemiro maybe not playing and not being available wouldn't have necessarily been a problem. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like it's annoying that once again we have to be like, well, the Glazers and they're going to be going, etc., and we're not dealing with what we have in front of it, and you're almost having to delay what United could achieve till the summer, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
And United, it's whatever people say, and we get the banter all the time. It is still bad that United have gone trophyless for 6 years. It's terrible.
So bad.
It's bad.
You are United. You're Man
So-
United. You're the biggest club in England. You go 6 years without a trophy. It's terrible.
It's bad. So
we won the Youth Cup last year, so like
we did
Oh,
win
come
Youth Cup
on.
last year. We did win Youth Cup last year. We did win Youth Cup. And to be fair, Garnacho played in that as well, didn't he? So so we're benefiting from that. But we need to win something. If you give me a cab on 4th place for Champions League, I'll say that for what Ten Hag had to deal with, the BS, I'll say that's been a good season. But if you're now saying no Champions League and no trophies, no one's going to blame Ten Hag, but people are going to look at it and go, hang on a minute, we could have done something, but we couldn't do something simply because the board basically didn't back the guy. That for me is the biggest thing.
Oh, RDS, I had another question for you. With all the signings that Chelsea are making, do you think top 4 is under threat? We could potentially finish 5th. If
it's possible. I mean, I have to look at
because I think we are 11 points ahead of Chelsea. I mean, and with still 19 games to go, it's not a lot.
I think it depends. It depends ultimately on like how they because they've made all these signings. Okay, so let's see what happens.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. Let's see what happens.
You
because,
you can buy all the great players you want if they don't really play good together. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's my only hope.
Thankfully, Manchester United have. I mean, the positive for Manchester United is that Manchester United have played the 2 best teams in the league ahead of them, which is Manchester City and Arsenal twice. So United don't have to play Manchester City or Arsenal again. We only have to play Chelsea at home, which I back us at the very least not to lose. Liverpool at Anfield. Well, I don't know. Liverpool are going through. I don't know what Liverpool are doing right now, but I would back us to potentially win there. Newcastle. Sorry? Yeah, Newcastle away will be a difficult game. There's no doubt about that. Newcastle away will be very, very difficult. But when you look at who Chelsea have to play, Chelsea still have to play
City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Exactly. And I think did they play City at home or away? I can't remember.
They play City at home.
At home, yes. They've got to play City away. They've got to play Arsenal, I think at home, possibly.
Away.
They've got Liverpool, away, Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. So I just think that with Chelsea, I think that I'm not saying that they can't not get top 4, but that they would have to be an amazing turnaround. And it would mean them having to take points off City, Liverpool, Newcastle, etc.
I think it ultimately comes down to if United is more likely to drop points or is Chelsea? You know, who's likely to drop points more?
Let me quickly
And
read
they
some.
still have Havertz in the attack, so that's good
Well,
for
there is that.
for
That's I think one thing. You know, they
yeah.
haven't actually bought a striker, but you
And
think that João
also, I don't
Felix.
know why people are getting gassed over this Madueke signing. As far as I can see, this guy is just another Jovinho. Like I have seen this guy play. He's all style and no substance. Like he's just another Jovinho. That's all he is.
Mm.
Like I
No,
don't know. Like these signings are being so overrated. You know.
well, that's
Oh
what I'm
my
saying.
god.
I'm waiting for these guys
Have
to
you
gas.
read the tweet? 8.5 years contract, Enzo. That's a
Yeah.
prison sentence. That's a prison sentence.
Till
What? How
2030. Yeah.
many? How many
Eight and a
years?
half.
Eight
Till
and a
2030.
half years. He's 30. He will be 30 years when the contract ends. 30 years.
RDS, you might have like 2 kids and be settled by the time his
This is
contract runs
just.
out.
It's just. Shout out to
Eight
Keir
and a
Navas, by
half.
the way. Keir Navas going to Nottingham Forest. Fair enough. That should be good. Henderson in the mud. Henderson in the mud, unfortunately. Well, he's injured though, I guess. So I guess they could have any choice. Um, June 2031, man. The thing about this though is that like at the end of the day, like this project bet, like fair enough to Todd. See, what I would say, whatever you say about Todd B, this is what it means to back a manager for a project. Whatever you say about Todd B, if you're talking about backing a manager for a project, this is what he's done.
Yeah.
He got what's his name, freaking Potter, and said, listen, here you go, here's the signings, get on with it. I'm backing you for this project. You know, by hook or by crook, I'm doing it. You know, Ten Hag was not back to the same level that this guy has. You know, Ten Hag wanted to get. I know we love Casemiro, but he wanted to get De Jong. He didn't get De Jong.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I just think that like
Which
whatever
I
you
think
say.
ultimately worked out for the better. I don't
No,
think.
it did. I definitely prefer Cameron Casemiro. There's no doubts about that. I guess I'm just saying it's just that, you know, I just hope that when we get new owners in the summer, that like the new owners will like, for example, we need number 9, Osherman, go get him. Why can't if Chelsea can structure their loan deals over 10 years, it seems, why can't United spend 120 on Osherman and do the same thing?
No, but the thing is, this is one thing I can understand is because they don't want to make a financial commitment ahead of the new owners. You know, like suppose if you're buying a house and then if you have to pay some kind of I don't know, if the previous owner made some deal that you have to eventually take over now, then that's not going to look good, if you know what I mean.
No, I get that. So that's why I'm saying I'm giving a pass for now. The only issue that I will have, the only issue I will be concerned about is if the same people that are running these deals still stay there. But we'll see what happens. Filthy Fellas Clip says, hopefully this signing ends with 105 from Chelsea will leave them financially crippled for the next few years. This is just getting ridiculous how they can loophole financial fair play. No, I mean not really, because they're spreading the money out. Basically, I think the only issue. Go on.
Yeah, sorry to interject, but just to add on that financial fair play thing, I think from next season onwards, there's two changes. So, like teams are not going to be able to hand out 8-year, 9-year contracts anymore. It's going to be capped to 5 years with option to add, which is like so you can only structure 5 years from like the magic length of a contract you can hand out now is 5 years. The second thing is you can only spend 70% of your turnover. So I think 70 or 75%. So that's the 70, yeah. So 70% of your turnover. So you cannot spend like, I don't know, like 500 mil when your club's not even making that much, you know? So that's ultimately going to be beneficial for us if we can get rid of our debt because we make a lot of money, you know, and we're not able to spend that because we are financing at least 100 mil a year on our debt. So if that debt gets cleared, we'll be able to spend like even more money than Chelsea are doing right now. So those are two changes. And plus another thing is with the way they're structuring the deals right now, yes, you can get them for cheap right now, but ultimately that cost is going to get added up for every future transfer windows. So let's say you're making 500 mil signings and you're spending only 10 mil for each of them in one window. But ultimately, that's going to get added. That 10 mil is going to get added every transfer window from now on, So they cannot make these 100 mil deals anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm sure top B and Chelsea fans won't. Obviously, they won't care though, presumably.
Yeah.
So they'll just be like, "Listen, at the end of the day, we got a player. I'm content. I'm happy. I don't care about it. Like we got our guy. It is what it is."
I think what they're trying to do is
it's all done. The paperwork, the medical pass, it's all done. It's over.
I think what they're trying to do now is they're trying to buy as many players as possible, but I think their spending is going to be relaxed in the next few transfer windows.
Well, I mean, hopefully it works, because if it doesn't work, then they're going to have some difficulty, I think, trying to ship off some of these players, or aside from loan deals and what have you. Because I think Chelsea's squad looks like it's very. I mean, I don't even know if Chelsea made any sales. I mean, I guess they did sell Jorginho to Arsenal for 12 million.
Ziyech.
But I mean, Ziyech was a loan deal though. It wasn't a sale.
It wasn't permanent?
No, it was a loan. I've looked Fabrizio's tweet. No, I think it was loan with no option to buy, apparently.
I think they loaned out Hutchinson as well.
Yeah. So they've loaned players, but and bearing in mind that they've got like the likes of Lukaku and etc. coming back, this Chelsea squad looks like it's quite massive, to be honest.
It's definitely bloated. But another thing I want.
Sorry, one question. Let me just quickly read these comments. I'll come back to you, Brad. It'll be a 6 out of 10, but looking at what the teams around us are doing, 4, which is what I said 4. Phil says, screw Chelsea ones, as much money as City have, they don't even do business like that. Yeah, I mean, City do it, it's sensible. Hey, this is a bit off topic, but have you guys seen the Arsenal fan base not done either the Jorginho deal? I guess we'll talk about some other transfers later. Yeah, so 1 second, something. Baseball contract similar. Todd B is bringing that America-style contracts until they get banned. Okay. Honestly, I see nothing with what Todd B is doing. Maybe it's my worldview, but it's smart business. Fair enough. Smashy, what are you going to say? Sorry.
About the J5 deal.
Yeah, okay, go on.
Why go for J5 if you could have SABITZER? Because let's face SABITZER is better than J5. So I don't understand.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say like why
the deal didn't make any sense from Caicedo to J5, whose legs are gone. I don't understand it.
Maybe he wanted someone with Premier League experience. I don't know. Because they couldn't get, obviously, Caicedo. I mean, they tried to put 75 for Caicedo. Brighton held firm. That would have been the deal of the window, in my opinion, Caicedo. So, but
they went from Mudryk, Felix, and Caicedo to Trossard and Jorginho.
That is true. However, Arsenal are still playing very, very good football right now. And if Arsenal and Chelsea were to play tomorrow, I still think Arsenal would beat Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
Just because Modric looked good when he came on against it, and you don't know the impact Enzo will have, because Enzo is more like is Enzo really a DM though? Is Enzo really a DM?
He's an 8.
Exactly. So
box to box. No.
I don't know who is the sort of DM / holding midfielder in this Chelsea's time. So whatever you say about Jorginho, he kind of was that somewhat. I don't know who that is.
He might play Zachariah there.
Sorry?
He might play Zachariah there.
Yeah, could be.
He's injured though now, isn't he? I think he's out injured again. If I recall.
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe.
Yeah. It was the last. I can't remember what was the last Chelsea game, but I remember he came off and he got injured again. So I think he's out for
Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it was it against Liverpool?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's out again. Wait, what's
the thing is?
Sorry, once Abracadabra says Chelsea can only register 3 players CL games.
Oh God,
that's interesting. Wait, so only 3 of the players they bought can be registered for the Champions League? Well, that's easy. They'll register Modric,
Felix, and I don't know if they can
Enzo.
And Enzo.
Yeah, it'll be those 3. I can't, because I mean, did they sign anyone else in January?
Yeah, they signed Badiashile, they signed Madueke. They signed Gusto is for the summer, but yeah, those. Those,
I
yeah.
guess, yeah. Back they said, yeah, Batter Shield. He did come now, didn't he? So that's 4, isn't it? Hmm. That's interesting.
I don't know. Can Felix play? Because he played for Atletico, right?
No, they changed the rule. They changed the rule. They changed the rules. So yeah, he can play. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, where would Batter Shield? Because that's Batter Shield's the only one. You're right. That would be like that's 4. Um. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, Felix. Yeah, that's why I think Felix Modric and Enzo. But yeah, where does Batter Shield fit? Um.
No, because
Because to be
Badishil, I think Badishil is like their starting center back right now.
exactly, they need him. They need him. So and he would probably been registered. So it's got to be if they can only register 3, you got to you probably say Felix to be honest
I don't know.
because
Is that
Felix.
even true though?
Um,
Is that even true though? Like, you can only register 3.
I guess it makes sense because you've already registered your Champions League squad already. So there must be something. There must be a rule to say that like you can't when you're making amendments, like you can't like it's like you couldn't just be like right okay um I'm registering my Champions League squad, and then in January I'm going to like just register like 7 or 6 new players into the Champions League squad.
Yeah.
So I get it. That makes sense. There must be some rule that says you can only when the Champions League campaign has started. There's only a certain amount of amendments that you can make, unless like you can drop players from that Champions League squad. That's the only thing I guess. So for example, I assume Jorginho was part of that Champions League squad. He's now not. So can you now put Badashil where Jorginho was? I don't know. No, but anyway, we're talking too much about Chelsea to be honest. So like, it's just annoying me right now. So, but I guess going on, I mean, like just talking generally just about transfer windows to begin to run things up. Like, what do you guys think was probably like the well? I guess also, who do you think did the best business of the window, and who do you think should have done better, and then who do you think was the best signing of the window? So, Samasi, I'll start with you. Samasi, you there? Oh, Samasi's not there. Okay, Pride, what do you think? Oh, nope. Jeez, everyone's disappearing. Okay. Right. Smash, you there? Okay, fine. Okay. Just me then. Just me. Okay. Sue, SMB says Cancelo to Bayern shock me. That was the business shock. Yes, I would agree with that. I'd agree. Cancelo to I mean, yeah, and apparently Cancelo and Pep were beefing. Yeah, apparently they squared up and fought. So someone to confirm that. Apparently they fought. Pride, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just had to connect
Yeah.
my charger. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it, mate. Yeah. So yeah. So question was, which club had the best January window? Which club could have done better at the worst? And then what was the best signing of the window?
I mean, I assume you're taking Chelsea out of this equation because I mean that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay, actually, no, is it? Is it because we're saying Chelsea, but we're saying Chelsea purely because of the amount of money, that they spent. That's why we're saying Chelsea. But regarding like the actual
they actually
team,
bought some good players. So I think like Enzo, the Mat, the striker they bought. What's his name?
Felix.
Yeah, Felix. Actually, they're good quality players. So I would say Chelsea had the best, and then I would say had also good transfer. I don't know, maybe Bayern, but it was good, not great. It was good.
Who did
We
Bayern
had
send from Cancelo?
Daily Blind for free, and I think but also, oh my god, what's his name? I totally forgot who we also bought. Wait, I gonna Google it.
But yeah, I think who could have done better? Maybe Liverpool. Because
yeah,
They had the
yeah.
worst. They didn't bought anybody.
yeah, they only bought
If
Gakpo. and right now he's got less goals than Weghorst.
I mean, people saying
If they
Gakpo
play,
Gakpo Bonlahor, man. That's what they're saying. Gak Bonlahor, man.
um,
It's bad.
if you play the player in the wrong position, of course he can score. If you play him in the position he played with PSV, he would actually play better. But Jürgen Klopp tax.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jan
Selassie,
Sommer.
can you actually what's as a side note? I mean, we'll give them like what's happened to German coaches? What's going on? They've been bricking
They're
it
in the
recently.
they're in
Flick
the
bricked
they're in
it.
the
Like
mud.
Flick
Absolutely in
bricked
the
it.
mud right now.
Nagelsmann's bricking it. Klopp is bricking it. Tuchel, I
Like
guess you could say, bricked it at the beginning of the season. What's going on, Samasi?
even Flick.
Yeah, as I
And
said, Flick bricked it. Yeah.
the I don't really know. Maybe it's curse. Maybe someone sacrificed the god. I don't really know what happened. No, seriously, Nagelsmann has bricked it. Flick has bricked it. The decision in the World Cup. Now Nagelsmann, the substitution are all wrong. I don't know what's gone. The only good player, good manager is the manager in Frankfurt. He played in Champions League. He was great with the substitution and with his plan. And now in the Bundesliga also, he's the only good
But isn't he
German manager
Austrian?
right now.
Isn't he Austrian?
What?
Isn't he Austrian?
Uh, if you play in the Bundesliga, you're German. I don't care.
I see. What about the
He's
Union Berlin
German.
manager?
We claim it as our own. So
Let me quickly read some comments again before we get back into who people think was the best transfer, the transfer window. Enzo Kadabra says Enzo just went London Cap with some money. Nobody else is paying this. Yeah, no one else is paying his release clause.
Yeah,
No
just to add on that, RDS, I think like Chelsea buying him right now was the best course of action because if he waited till the summer, I think he would have either gone to Madrid or Man City, honestly. Because like if you look at Madrid, they have to replace Modric and Cruz. In Man City, Gundogan is leaving. Bernardo Silva was most likely leaving. So he might have gone to either one of those teams. So Chelsea buying him right now was probably like the best course of action, you know?
Yeah, of course. You're not going to willfully sign for a club that's not playing CL football, you know. So even with the pull of Chelsea Football Club, you know. So, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But you know, they also have the pull as well. So they're a big club. It is what it is. That's Massian. Liverpool owners are selling some more than likely, so I didn't expect anything yet. It's the same thing with United. You know, I don't think it was really big. Summer, yeah, Bayern did well. Summer and Cancelo, I think, are good reinforcements for Bayern. Liverpool's not going to come with their sell, which is the same thing with the Glazers. They've been figured out. I've seen them going to German coaches. Artists, Nagelsmann's doing great at Bayern. What are you talking about, guys? Come on. Well, it's Samasi saying that, not me. Samasi and
I gave him, let's say, 3 games he broke it. I gave him last year in the Mainz game. I will be live at the game, and I will play. I will boo these players and our coach if he breaks it. Let's face. I really don't care. I will
I
boo
mean, the
them.
Bundesliga does look pretty tight. I was looking at it. I was like, is it?
You cannot
It's like
if
4 points between 6th and 1st. Like, I don't actually understand how that's.
It's the tightest title race we have in years. It's really looking great actually for the Bundesliga right now.
Yeah,
It's the
I'm
most
like, I see like
competitive.
Frankfurt.
No more Farmers League.
But that's
I see
because
Frankfurt on
but
32
that's not
points.
because but that's not because other teams are doing great. It's because Bayern is not doing that well.
Yeah, we actually are in this month in the later years we had actually like 42 points, 37 points, and now we have 36. It's not looking good for Nagelsmann.
There's literally only 5 points between 6th and 1st. That's actually a title race.
At this point in previous seasons, like the league was already done. you know.
Yeah.
But right now it's more tight because Bayern are underperforming for some reason.
All I'm saying is, if I see Union Berlin win the Bundesliga,
Oh god.
It's Stoy. It's Stoy. It's Stoy.
it's Stoy. It's Stoy
Nagelsmann is getting fired. By the way,
and Bayern are
Zidane
getting
is
inducted.
interested in Bayern. If we fire Nagelsmann, Zidane in. Zidane in.
What about Tuchel? He can win you the Champions League.
Harambol. I don't want to play Harambol.
Just don't let Union Berlin or Freiburg or Frankfurt or any of those. I wouldn't mind Dortmund. If Dortmund win the thing, is like, oh, okay, fine, fair enough. But if Freiburg, Frankfurt, or Union Berlin even touch the Bundesliga trophies,
Dortmund are serial bottlers. You can't trust them.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Leipzig is still in the fight as well, so you never know.
And I think we were, let's face, in 2019, they had the biggest chance. We were 10th, and they still bottled it. They bought a bus for the because they thought they're gonna win the Bundesliga. It's the most hilarious picture I've seen. They're serial bottlers. They're worse than Spurs, so I don't trust them.
Just to say, so this is what I was concerned about. So Ten Hag confirms McTominay's out for weeks with a muscular injury. So just imagine if United hadn't gone for Sabitzer, right? So and weeks for me is basically up to like at the very least 2 months. That's weeks for me. 1 to 2 months. So McTominay's not going to be back until sometime in March. Okay. Bear in mind that United have 3 games, have a game every 3 days till the end of February. Yeah. So you're telling me that a midfield of Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno is enough to cover till the end? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. It's not. So Sabitzer will have to come in. You're going to have to even play. I keep forgetting this kid's name. Mainu will get games. Mainu will have to get games. You know, so like that, because I can't see. You know, Iqbal maybe might come in at. Possibly.
I'd rather start Iqbal instead of Mainu, because Iqbal, like, he's actually played preseason, you know.
I guess maybe Palestri might be. I don't know. Right wing. I don't know. I just think at this point it's just like we've gone from 6 midfielders to 3 with 1 on loan, and that's assuming that, you know, the likes of Fred or Casemiro don't pick up their own injuries or get red cards or suspensions, etc., etc.
Well, Ardias, I wanted to ask you a question. For the summer, would you rather sign Kane or Osimhen?
Osimhen for long term, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because Osimhen is younger. Kane, at the end of the day, like, Kane may give you a good 2, because Kane's now 13. I think he's turned 30 now. So as a striker, Kane may give you maybe 2, maybe maximum 3 good years from now, in my personal opinion.
I don't know. I'd rather sign Kane, because he'll give you he like him partnered in a good squad can win you the Premier League. I don't trust Serie A strikers, man. I don't trust them.
You can have Osimhen. I want Kane at Bayern.
Yeah, I know you want Kane at Bayern, Sebastian. Yeah. We know you want Kane at Bayern. Like, the thing is, he's likely to sign another deal at Spurs anyway. So, but I think
pathetic loser. Loser.
Yeah,
if he goes to Man United, I had no problem with it. If he signs with Spurs, I will go. It's long time since I went to a game outside of Germany. I will go to London to a Spurs game and hold up a shield where that stands "Kane is a total pathetic loser." And I hope we're gonna be on live TV that they show it. It's just a loser.
So Atonement again says we need Sabitzer before. Oh, of course we did. Yeah, these injury announcements. If we didn't get him, we've been serious trouble. Oh yeah, of course. We need another midfielder regardless.
Yeah.
You know, so but at least before you could say, okay, for certain games, let's say for example tomorrow against Nottingham, you can be like, oh, for certain games you can play Van der Beek, you can play McTominay, you can play all those things, and the players can get a rest. Those players aren't going to get like tomorrow should be a rest game for Casemiro, for Bruno, for Fred, etc. That's not going to be a rest game because we can't field a midfield. Sabitzer is not going to be ready, so he can't play. So you are literally going to have to play Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno. Maybe you can play Mainu or Iqbal for one of them, but Fred and Casemiro are going to have to play, and they can't play all the time. We have a home game against Crystal Palace, and someone needs rest. So
I think you'll rest Casemiro tomorrow. I think you'll rest him tomorrow. You play someone like Fred and Mainu probably.
Maybe. I don't know. Even that is a risk. It's not like Nottingham Forest. Like, let's keep a stack. Like, it's not. I know United are 3-0 up. It's not like Nottingham Forest are scrubs, especially now that they've made their signings. Nottingham Forest made a fair few signings in this window as well. So they're not going to come to Old Trafford being like, yeah, we've lost. We're not going to try. We're not going to play, etc., etc. So like they would think, let's see, we can give them a good go.
Maybe
so
play him for 45 minutes and then take him off.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but you play that, and it's almost kind of like, what happens if he picks up an injury? These are the things.
Yeah.
Question to Magpie Studio. I don't know who that is. It's not me. Thoughts on the Gordon signing? Well, if Magpie Studio was here, I think 40 million for Gordon, I guess, is probably a better deal than what apparently Everton were charging Chelsea, which was like 100 million. And I guess he wanted to leave. We'll see, because Eddie Howe, whatever you said about Eddie Howe, he is a pretty decent coach. So I would trust Eddie Howe to turn Gordon into a good player.
RDS, I don't know if you know, Guimaraes is out for the final.
No. I saw. I looked into this. No, because the red card, it's domestic, so it carries over into domestic things. So it's so he's got a 3-match ban, which is domestic, which means he'll miss the 3 Premier League games, because there's 3 Premier League games up until the final. Because the final, I think, is the end of February, if I recall.
But why wouldn't it affect? But isn't it in the same competition?
No, apparently it has to do. It's the same. It's because it's a domestic cup. The punishment is transferred over domestically. At least that's what someone said. It's different if it's like Europa League or Champions League. So, for example, if someone got a red card in the FA Cup, they won't play in the subsequent Premier League games because it's a domestic trophy. So, unfortunately, because there are 3 games. So I go on.
Sorry, but that's only if they go out of the FA Cup. It'll get transferred domestically, but they're still in the competition.
Are you sure? Because I did read. I looked at this and I did read this, and I was like, no.
So if they get knocked out of, so let's say someone gets red carded and their team gets knocked out of the competition, that red card charges will get transferred to the Premier League.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But they're still in the competition. They're still in the final.
My understanding, and maybe someone in chat can correct me, was that like the red card will transfer domestically. So it's not that he got a red card and then he can now go and play for Newcastle again in the subsequent game.
No, but that works in, see, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, this works in you've seen this a lot in, like, players get red card in the Premier League, but they can still play in the Champions League, or vice versa.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what it's different if it's a domestic cup. So yeah, the Champions League, because that's the UEFA European competition, so that's different. But when it comes to a domestic cup competition, like for the domestic league, like it's completely different. Because you can't almost transfer over like red cards from one, from Europe, let's say, to say the UK. I assume that works in different leagues as well. So, but I'll double check, but like I'm fairly confident that like, because it kind of does make a little bit of sense, because the Champions League is like a completely different. It's run by different people, and if you're the Premier League and someone gets a straight red in one FA Cup competition, and then the following day they have a game against Villa, for example, and they can still play, people go, "What the hell is going on?"
No, but I swear that only affects if you get knocked out of the competition, right?
I don't think so.
Because
don't
if they
think
still
so.
have games, in in that specific competition, then surely that red card charge should carry over to that.
Let me, in fact, let me
It would
Google it.
make sense, but I really don't know.
Yeah, so here I've got the Chronicle here, so this will be good. Let's have a look. This is Chronicle Live, so this is basically the Newcastle. So why Bruno Guimaraes won't miss the Carabao Cup final after Southampton semi-red card final? So they say the Carabao Cup rules state that all suspensions carry over through all other domestic competitions, meaning Guimaraes will miss Newcastle's 3 matches in between now and the final scheduled for Sunday, February 26th. So the 3 matches are West Ham, which is on the Saturday, the February the 4th, Bournemouth on Saturday, then February 11th, and then Liverpool on Saturday, February the 18th. So had they had like one, if it had been 2 games to the final, then he would miss the final. So yeah, unfortunately, he is going to.
I'm confident we'll still beat them with him.
Do you guys think the EPL spending is a concern for world football in general? And this is a good question before we begin to round up, actually, because I know it's getting late. And also, officially, the transfer window is closed. The transfer window is closed. It's gone 11 o'clock, so the January transfer window is closed. No more January transfers. Obviously, I guess the biggest news of the transfer window is that Enzo Fernandez it's officially been confirmed to join Chelsea. Manchester United obviously signed Sabitzer on loan on a deadline day, almost like Igalo before. And yeah, good business. But this is an important question from SSB, who says, do you guys think the EPL spending is a concern for world football in general and the various domestic leagues? Nottingham Forest signed that good form Atletico Felipe. Yeah, they did. Which is one reason why I'm worried about playing a weakened team against them in the Carabao. But anyway, at the end of the day, SSB, the Premier League is basically a super league. I know people saying that the Premier League is they were anti-Super League, but the reality is the Premier League is that it is a super league. It is a super league. It has the most money compared to other leagues, to the point that even teams like Forest and Bournemouth and you even just think about Leeds, Weston McKennie going to Leeds, for example, loans. Like, players know they're going to make bank going to the Premier League, and there are a lot of players, especially players that come from poorer backgrounds, that are like, listen, I don't care necessarily about the club. I'm going to move there anyway because I'm going to be able to make bank, and it is what it is, So if you're talking about the future, I could only really see a situation where possibly, if you're going to look at the future, then the only thing I can see is that possibly maybe you have a situation where you have the Premier League and then you have the European League. So by that I mean Serie A, maybe the Bundesliga, and maybe La Liga, and they all merge together in one league, and that creates competition against the Premier League. That's the only thing that I can see happening.
No, but the thing is, artists, that won't be viable because you think of all the match day going fans. Like, you think of fans, I don't know, for like the lower league European clubs. So like, I don't know, like Torino, Osasuna, all those teams. Like,
oh yeah,
how would they be able to afford going to all these games?
Oh yeah, they're not. Oh yeah, the fans always be screwed over, but unfortunately, it's whether or not because right now the finance in football is just not sustainable. It's just not, and investors right now are obviously going where the money is, and unfortunately, when it comes to TV revenue, advertising revenue, etc., whether we like or not, the Premier League is the biggest cash cow. And a lot of these, especially post-COVID, a lot of these clubs just aren't able to compete. Now, some of that comes from the domestic leagues' own laws, like La Liga, and how they are regarding restriction of spending and external investment. That's, I think, one of the big reasons. The Bundesliga and the Liga and stuff like that, they have restrictions on external investment, from the Middle East and, Russia, China, etc., etc. But if things keep on going the way they are, I just don't really see how a lot of the clubs you mentioned, like etc., are going to be financially viable going forward. Like, they're not, even with match doing fans, they're just not going to be, because the TV revenue is not going to come through. It's not evenly distributed. And the nature of football, the future of football anyway, is that, like, you're not, it's like, to put it another way, like, in 10 or 20 years, you're not going to, Torino isn't suddenly going, unless Torino gets bought and backed by maybe a sheikh owner, and millions upon millions upon millions upon billions is spent on pushing them and advertising, and then eventually might get money back. If that doesn't happen, then they're not going to somehow become bigger. They're just going to, at best, they might break even if they're ran savvily. And usually, unfortunately, in football now, you have to spend to succeed. And if you can't spend, you'll get relegated. And you get relegated, you lose money, and people lose money, they lose jobs. And then the clubs go down and down and down, down, down. And they can't recover, they can't compete.
But another thing I wanted to say is, like, if you really deep about it, the way the market's going right now, I think there's a huge potential for the TV revenues the EPL clubs make to go significantly down in the next 5-10 years. Because if you see, like, the way the market's going right now, all these Sky Sports, BBC subscriptions, they're a luxury for most of the common working class men in the UK. And as the market goes down, people are gonna eventually stop subscribing to these getting Sky Sports subscriptions, BBC, NBC subscriptions, and if they go down, the TV revenue will significantly go down as well. So there is a huge potential for that to happen as well. So you're not gonna see £1 billion pound transfers in the future, stuff like that. So there is a huge potential for it to swing the other way as well. But the way it's going right now, with the amount of spending clubs like Chelsea, Man City might do in the future, it's like it's only going up, if you know what I mean. And it's going to isolate the rest of the leagues as well, and what's going to happen is that if there's, for example, if there's a Premier League team interested in a foreign league player, they're going to charge a huge markup on that player because it's a Premier League team, So, for example, I don't know, if Chelsea are going in for a Lyon player and Milan are going in for that Lyon player as well, they're going to charge significantly higher for that for Chelsea for that player, and it's gonna cause a huge imbalance, because then clubs like Milan, Real Madrid, they won't be able to afford these kind of prices that will cause as a result of Premier League clubs' interest. So it's going to cause a huge imbalance if this goes like the way it's going.
That's fair. I know he can still play in the final if they have. Yes, that's what we want to say. Okay. Samasi had to head off, says sorry, my internet's, but no worries, Samasi. We'll catch you in a bit. Samasi. Dan Juma, yeah, I know it was about time Elton Fox on that. Exactly. But they've got the dough. They've got the dough.
He literally played in the Champions League semi-final last season, and he's signing for a Premier League relegation club.
But it's crazy. But you've got the dough.
Yeah,
they've got the dough. At the end of the day,
it's the TV money. That's why the Premier League was created in the first place. It's the Premier League money.
It's the Premier League money, So, and at the end of the day, a lot of people, I've never believed this in this whole thing of it's the same with Enzo to Chelsea. Did Enzo really go to Chelsea because, oh yes, I'm a Chelsea fan and I want to win trophies and all this and that and stuff like that? It's like, no, of course not.
No,
it's the dough.
Even you heard Caicedo saying he's got 10 siblings he needs to feed.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not gonna feed them by going to. He can, but he's gonna earn way more money if he goes to Chelsea or like Arsenal instead of, I don't know, Juventus or Inter Milan, even though they're more prestigious clubs, you know.
Exactly. It is what it is. S&B says EPL are very smart on how they do business. Those American and British owners are already thinking long term. They have the foresight. Yeah. I think that whatever you say, unfortunately, um, you know, personally for me, I think that the Bundesliga and the Serie A and Liga should have, at the time the PL was created, or at least soon after, they should have adopted that. I know it helps that English is international language, etc., but I still think they should have adopted that model, that TV rights money model, so that therefore, over a longer period of time, you could have seen some of these teams successfully grow and build. You know,
So,
what we
Archie,
saw.
can you explain that model? Because I don't understand, like, what's the difference between the TV like revenue model in England and in other countries?
So basically, the from what I understand it, with the TV money revenue, like, so let's say for example, the Premier League will sign a deal with China or whoever it is for the rights, and they'll bring a brand total of like 1.2 billion in, for example, and
Yeah.
that 1.2 billion will be distributed evenly between all 20 teams in the Premier League. Yes, you get some additional, like you get certain prize money for where you finish, like differing prize money for where you finish in the league, you know, slightly more, slightly less, which is still quite good. But the actual TV revenue is divided evenly between all teams from first to for 20th. Now, in likes of La Liga, I know for La Liga, I'm not sure about Bundesliga, but from what I understand, it's based on viewability. So because people view and because Real Madrid and Barcelona are the most popular teams, they get the biggest share of the TV revenue money, and then and then it obviously goes down to sequentially to other league teams. So basically, the recently promoted Liga NES side is not going to get this is not going to get anywhere near close to the amount of TV revenue money as Real Madrid are or Barca are, etc.
So that creates a parity in those leagues.
Exactly. So of course you have a situation. So you have a situation where you know, and it's probably the same thing in the Bundesliga, where you have these same teams, you know, winning the titles over and over and over and over and over again. The difference between say that and say the Premier League is that with the Premier League, because obviously they're flexible with external investment, you had alternative parity, but of course, because they're flexible with external investment, you now got oil money and shakes money now investing and changing that.
Right.
But,
I think even in the other leagues, it's like outside investment is like relatively restricted, especially if you
yes,
see the Bundesliga clubs. Like you got
exactly,
you have the 50+1 rule, right? Where
exactly,
the fans, I think, own the majority of the club shares. So like outside
exactly.
investment is not encouraged in these leagues, whereas in the Premier League they're severely relaxed, as you said.
Exactly. So I'm just checking. I assume the clubs. I'm still. I hope this Chelsea, this Enzo thing is coming because I'm on standby in case they haven't fulfilled they haven't submitted the details. I am on standby. We'll see what happens
Oh
anyway.
God, that Have Hope stream tonight is gonna be unbearable.
If yeah, I'm bailing out of that one. I'm bailing out of that one. I'm bailing out of that one. I'm bailing out of that one.
God, the nicknames that are gonna be flying out of his mouth, man.
Yeah, I all I'm for now is I'm keeping quiet, and we'll see what happens.
But the
When
thing is,
on the
RDS,
field.
I'm not really that concerned because, like, if I look at my club, like, if I look at United, right, like,
Hmm.
I am like that confident in Ten Hag that like it doesn't matter what, like, as long as he's not like a 32-year-old Finnish player. If he signs like a 30 million good prospect, I'm very confident that he can maximize his potential. So
Hmm.
I'm not concerned with how much money we spend as long as we get good players in that fit the system and they do well and they follow the manager's instructions. I'm that's all I need. I'm not looking for, I don't know, 120 150 mil signings. As long as they get good players in, I'm fine with that.
That's fair. That's fair, Pride. S&B, we'll round things up in the next 5 minutes or so. Actually, the culture of the EPL, they'll prioritize business before football. This is the difference between England and Italy or Spain. The EPL thinking was that you watch an Arsenal Man United because they play. The EPL thing was that you watch an Arsenal Man United because they play a Stoke City or Sunderland. This was the thinking back in the day. La Liga and Serie A thought you only watch the big clubs. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say is that. And so, of course, that created a huge disparity between the top clubs in those leagues and the bottom clubs. But ultimately, because obviously the TV revenue in the Premier League as it went up and up and up and up, so too did the pockets of those smaller clubs.
Yeah.
That's why we have a situation where the amount of revenue that the 20th place Premier League team gets is higher than the winner of Serie A.
And I think they advertise these games pretty well as well.
In comparison. So, and ultimately, if you're a business, if you're an owner, do you really if you're a business owner, are you really thinking, oh wow, yes, I won a trophy and Serie A and a title versus I've made 200+ million pounds more? You've got to think about that. At the end of the day, like these, yes, I still think it's getting to the point in football where there's almost too much money in football that I feel like it's going to be very difficult for you to make a long-term profits in football. You have to do it for love of the game.
But I think over time you can definitely make your money in football.
Yeah, definitely over time. But I think initially, if you're wanting to say take a Torino and make them great, you're going to have to sacrifice profits for at least, I would argue, at least a decade.
Oh yeah. You have to make significant initial investment to get your ROI back. So
no.
Unless you're like massive fans of these clubs or like of these European clubs, like I don't know, Torino or Vallecano, and you want to see them win their domestic cups, like unless you're massive fans of those, people wouldn't be attracted to these clubs.
That is fair. That's fair. So I guess just final thoughts going in. Let's actually just quickly. I'm going to quickly just bring the fixtures up, and then we'll round things up just in terms of like where United will.
I don't know, Ardius, do you really see us conceding 4 goals against Nottingham Forest at home?
Possibly. I know you say no. So, but for me.
You still don't trust that defense.
No, I won't say I don't trust the defense. It's more the midfield, and it's more like I don't think even in that game, Nottingham Forest weren't bad. It's just that we took our chance, we punished them. So at the end of the day, they are a Premier League team, and they're going to go strong. So if we make I think if our midfield is Casemiro, Fred, and then we'll be fine. Yeah. I have no issue with that. But I think that if we completely change our midfield and make too many changes, then yes, it could potentially be a problem.
I think the best thing to do is to play a strong team 45 minutes and try and get a goal or two, because
exactly.
Once it's done.
Exactly.
Once you go 4-0 up, it's done.
Right. Okay, let's have a look. Just quickly at the fixtures. So I think one of these fixtures has been rescheduled as well, actually, because this was ridiculous.
I think it's
yeah, the Leeds. I think it was a Leeds game here that's been rescheduled because there was like 3 games in 4 days.
How ridiculous is that? We're the only team with this kind of schedule.
Yeah, because the United are the only team that is still in 4 competitions, and that's why I was so adamant that we should get more signings. But there we go. Right. So just looking at this, so obviously we've got Forest tomorrow at home, which I think should still be an easy dub. We should still be able to go into
at least not concede 4 goals, because I can't see us conceding 3 goals even. I can't see that.
Then Palace at the weekend at home. I know it's a draw, but I do think that United can go and win that game.
Yeah, we'll win
You know,
It's at home. It's at home. We'll
it's
win
at
that.
home. Yeah, we got to try and we've got to try and win it
And
because if we're gonna
the important thing is we have to widen the gap between fourth place and the rest of the teams. That's the important thing. Like around 25, 30 games in, we have to widen that gap to at least like 10,
exactly
15 points.
Leeds home and away now. Under Ollie, Leeds even not as bad as Ollie was at times. Like we always spanked Leeds. So even when we were bad, we just always did spank them. So I'm hoping that tradition still remains the same. We play them back to back. I expect us to beat them back to back. So I mean they're not doing badly in the table. I think they're 15th.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, with their form, we have to beat them. We have to beat them.
But with their form, I think that they've not got to win the last 5 games. We have to beat these guys. I hate Leeds. The fans are troubling. And you wanted to look.
Artists just said that's scum.
Yeah, they're not pleasant people. So I'm saying that we should be taking 9 points from these 3 games. I don't know what's going to happen again in Europa League away to Barcelona. To be honest, we might even throw it. I don't know. So
I'm just going to watch that game as a neutral because I don't really care about the Europa League.
No,
I'm not going into that game. Oh, we got to win this game. I really don't care about that.
No, I agree. Then Leicester at home. So the thing is, if you look at, we've got like in the next 5 Premier League games, United have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is it? Am I counting that right?
Brentford,
1, 2,
Brentford.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5 home games. Home against Brentford. Brentford are great. A solid team, but again, home matches. So I like to think that United should be able to get 3 points here, 3 points against Leicester, 3 points against Leeds, 3 points. We should be able to get 12 points, 15. To be honest, aside from what happens against Barcelona, even against Liverpool away, I still think this United should still be able to get something. How bad Liverpool are.
Yeah.
So to be honest, it's only really maybe when you come to Brighton here away where I'm thinking,
yeah,
maybe Brighton might be a bit of a hiccup.
I think what Ten Hag needs to do is he needs to take split, like, because we got 18 games left. Is that true? Yeah. So he needs to split them into like, I don't know, groups of 3 or groups of 4, groups of 5, and then he needs to set a target. Like, okay, from our next 12 or 15, 12 points, we need to get 10 or 11, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. And of course, we always got to bear in mind, as I said to Smash at the beginning of the stream, that United, at the very least, in my opinion, they've at least played the top 2 twice already, and we just have a game away to Newcastle. And I think Spurs have to come to United, I think, if I recall.
No, so it's at Tottenham away.
I thought we beat them I thought it was away we beat them.
No, it's at home.
It was at home. Okay, fine. Okay, but
pretty much we'll still be Tottenham away.
Yeah. Issues with Spurs, but yeah. So whereas other teams, like I said, you're talking about Chelsea. Okay, fine. We are still 10 points ahead of them, but they still need to go and face these guys and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But
yeah, I think the only tough game is Liverpool away because it's still at Anfield. Even though it's a trash Liverpool.
We should be slapping this Liverpool team, man.
We should, but it's Liverpool United and it's at Anfield. Like, you never know what you're gonna get.
I know, but it's just that when I look at them, I'm like, you look at their attackers attack is bad. Their midfield, like our midfield is better than Liverpool's midfield currently. It is.
Yeah. By a mile, by a country.
Wait, hold up. What's this? Yo, apparently the Enzo deal isn't final. I'm watching HH channel and they are saying this. Is this true?
No, I wouldn't. RDS, I wouldn't put too much stock into HH's channel when it comes to transfer.
Yeah, I think it says, what is this? An hour extension has been granted to Chelsea in order to get the deal for Enzo Fernandez done. Talk Sports source understand. Wow.
I just hope it doesn't come back to bite them in the ass. That's all. Like all
this applies to any club who's just filed a deal sheet. Not sure why you lot are making out the Chelsea gets extension.
It'll get done. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's getting done. People say it's not final, but like it's getting done. So
it'll get done. Like they have an hour to make some signatures. Like how difficult is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can scan a PDF signature in like what 5 minutes?
To be honest, for me, what I actually thought was that I don't get like because don't you have to do the medical before before?
That's no, they already did. They already did the medical in Portugal. So
all that. But I thought that wasn't confirmed. People said because even Fabrizio said the whole medical thing in Lisbon was confirmed. But anyway, it's fine. They're going to get the deal. If they don't get it done now, then yeah, I will banter Chelsea for the rest of the season if they don't get it done. But they will get it done. So
they'll get it done. They'll get it done.
So yeah, SMB on to your question. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, Ardius, I wanted to ask you another question actually.
Yeah.
So, cool. What do you think is a long term? How do you see United going long term in the next 3-4 years under this manager? Do you think we'll win a Premier League or a Champions League?
I don't think I can answer that question until we get new owners. I would say I don't think we can answer this question until because if we get new owners in.
But let's say, make the assumption that he does get his signings, right? Like we don't blow crazy money like Chelsea, but let's say he gets his signings. So what the priority this summer is what? A striker, another midfielder, maybe a right back. Let's say he gets all those signings.
Yeah, then I think we can. I think that we can compete. I mean, we've already seen that we beat City at Old Trafford. We beat Arsenal at Old Trafford. You could make a case that we could have potentially gone toe-to-toe with Arsenal if Casemiro had been fit. So the key thing that Ten Hag needs to do for me in the next, I would say at least 2 seasons, is he needs to build a squad. It needs to be more than just like City. It needs to be more than just, oh yeah, we have a great starting 11. Yeah, that's cool. But I want United to be in a situation like Manchester City where you can, bring on, but you have Bernardo Silva and you can bring on 100 million Jack Grealish. You can have an injury to your centre back like Laporte, whatever, and you still got Nathan Ake doing his thing, and so on. Yeah, that's what United need. Ten Hag needs to build a squad that can compete on all fronts. So I think if we get signs in summer, I think we can definitely compete potentially for the league next year. But I think if we're going to be thinking about going back to or going to where like City are, where you're competing on multiple fronts regularly, then we need more. And as you said, that means a striker, potentially a right back, a midfielder,
2 midfielders actually.
2 midfielders, yeah, 2 midfielders exactly. So possibly another. Obviously, you can integrate youth in there as well. We need to obviously see where we are when it comes to who's staying and who's going. Azim Harry Maguire might leave. So these are all the different things. So
I think another thing that's important is I think from now on, every year we have to promote at least one youth player. So this season it was Garnacho. Next season it can be Zidane Iqbal. The season after that it can be Charlie Savage maybe. But I think we have to make that aim that we have to promote at least one youth player because then we'll be saving potentially that position on another position, if you know what I mean. The money.
That is true. That is true. It's true. I just think that when I look at other clubs, you don't see Chelsea, even City to a certain extent. I know Chelsea brought in Foden and Rico Lewis, but to be honest, United promote more youth people than so many other clubs do. Liverpool been better at it, I would argue, but look at Chelsea, look at Spurs, you look at City. Like how many in the last 5-6 years have even come through them? None at all.
It's not just that, RDS. Like finding youth players is one thing. Getting them to transition, getting them to transition from youth level football to first team is another thing.
Yeah, no, of course.
And I think we are really good at that.
SMB says Liverpool is in big trouble. We are screwed. Where is Liverpool again? Let me just scroll down here.
They're 9.
They're in the same points as Chelsea, having played less games. So have hope. It's possible that you could at least see if Liverpool win their next game, they will go into 2032. So they'll go into 6th. So you know what I mean? Like it's not. What I will say this is that, and I said this in my, it's away to Wolves, so make of that what you will. But what I will say about this is that like it is still quite close. I don't think these are potentially fixed. Well, Arsenal's fixed. Let's keep it a stat. Arsenal and City are fixed. They're fixed.
You mean it's either like they can you mean like the top 2 positions are fixed as in
the top 2 positions are fixed. Arsenal City aren't going out top 4.
Right.
I could even potentially make a strong argument for Newcastle, given that they've conceded like the least amount of goals in the Premier League, because I'm not saying they are sure in, but if you're going to secure a position, you need to at least not concede. And the fact that they've only conceded 11 goals in 20 matches, that's like 1 goal every 2 games.
Yeah,
that's insane.
RDS, like another thing is we shouldn't laugh at our defensive record as well, because like we did concede 25 goals, but at least 10 of them were in 2 games.
That is true. Exactly. And to be honest, when you go downwards, you're thinking, considering how badly we started, when you look down, whoa, Spurs conceded 31, Brighton 27, Fulham 30, Brentford 28. We actually now conceded the same amount of goals as Liverpool now, almost, Chelsea 21, Aston 27, etc. So yeah, no, I definitely hear that. As he says, but artists historically, Man United has had a stronger academy. Only Chelsea can compete in England. Yeah, of course. I don't doubt that.
Yeah, the thing is, Chelsea have a really good eye for talent, but the thing is, they don't do well when transitioning them from youth level to first team. Right? Like right now, they're starting to do it with Lewis, and maybe Mount, but like apart from that, they don't really do well transitioning them from first team to youth.
I mean, how many you can count them on that? I mean, for goodness sake, Rashford obviously is the most recent success one. People forget. For all people that slate Rashford, it's like, yeah, but Rashford didn't cost anything.
Yeah,
exactly. Like it's not like he had people. I'm not saying that Rashford has got the same time as Mbappe, but the thing is, Mbappe cost
200.
No, it wasn't 2. I think it was 160 million for Monaco. So yes, he's expected to deliver and perform because of that price tag. Rashford didn't cost anything, so you can't give him the same expectation, And then obviously, likes of Lingard, McTominay, were obviously there. You obviously
even players we got young for really cheap. You look at likes of Luke Shaw. He only costs what, 10 mil. You look at Amad Diallo. He like even Palacio, they got 10 mil each. So
yeah, Garnacho obviously there. Greenwood before he did his thing. I mean, just anyway, I'm not going to go there about Greenwood, but it is one of the things that pains me that had he not been a stupid idiot, just imagine what Ten Hag could have done with that guy. With him. It would have been. But he was an idiot.
That guy had bags of talent,
Yeah,
his 2-footedness. Oh God,
Ten Hag would have got him to cook, but c'est la vie, unfortunately. So, anyway, guys, we're going to round up the stream now. Pride, thank you so much for joining. SME, thanks everyone who joined into the chat. Smash obviously was there previously. Remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow them to join X. We'll be back with a match preview for the Crystal Palace game. I might not be able to go live because I'll be away this weekend for Palace, but I will probably post a short or something to give you my thoughts. But yeah, have a nice day, everyone, and cheers. Peace.